Okay guys, I want to cover some stuff today. I'm inside because it's cold outside, still a little rainy here in Tennessee. It's about 50 degrees here. But anyway, what I want to explain today is swing plane. One of the things. There's about 2 or 3 things I want to explain to you. Maybe this will help you. Swing plane. Jim Hardy came out years ago, 20, 25 years ago, maybe not that long, but pretty close to it. And he came out with a DVD instruction on that was entitled The Plain Truth. Jim talked about if you've got your line out here, your target line out here, and you take your shoulders and you move them fairly flat, like I'm doing here, that wherever that line is, it will point about 3 feet from the target line, okay? Ben Hogan did that. A lot of your players on tour does that today. The other option that you have is if I take my left shoulder and I point it right at the target or the ball or the target line, well, that would be a steep swing, okay? And people that do that are kind of like Jim Furyk and Jack Nicklaus. Now, in between that 36 inches, you can turn your shoulders any way you want to, all the way. There's hundreds of planes there to hit, okay? If you just do it by little bitty micro inches. You see what I'm saying? So that to me is all that you need to know about playing. Which plane suits you? Hell, I don't know. It could be out there 36 inches. It could be here at the target line, or it could be in between. Okay, you just got to find that. No one can tell you what is right or wrong because there is no right or wrong in that. Depends on the individual. Okay. So that's all I got to say about playing. The next thing I need to talk about is, we've talked about bringing pushing the sword into the stone and then bringing it out with a core. Okay. That's very important, but to be able to do that, your right arm and your left arm have got to be in a certain direction, pointed in a certain direction. See the top of or the inside of my arm? Okay. Now I'm not going to grip a club like that. That's just stupid. But what I am going to do, I'm going to have the top of this arm pointed at the sky, and I take my grip. I'm going to leave it pointed and just turn my hand, okay? Of course, I don't do that. I just come in here and turn it like this. See? Same holds true on this side. You can't have your arm, the elbow pointed at the target. You got to have it turned in just like you got the right one. Why? Well, when you take your backswing, if they're turned in like I'm showing, they hinge correctly. See how that elbow is down? Okay, if I did it the other way and my elbow was pointed that way and this was pointed towards the target, now look what happens. Okay, you get that chicken wing or that elbow starting to point backwards. Same holds true on this side. Okay, if you got your elbow pointed at the target and you come through, you're just setting up a chicken wing. See what it does? And the elbow points back. We want it to point down. Now, if you do it this way, turn them in, and then come through the ball, then you will fold up naturally, and your elbow will point down. It's just the little stuff that you don't think about, okay, that you gotta really kind of concentrate on. Now, the next thing I'm gonna show you, let me see if I can do this, is the lower part of the body. I've said this 1,000 times. Supports what's going on up top, okay? This is This is the engine. From the hips up is the engine. That's what's moving. And you got a club unit, which is your arms, your hands, and the club itself. Okay, those are things that are moving. All right. So what I want to show you is how are we going to support that movement? Well, we're going to fool ourselves. What I mean by that, I'm going to lay this down here, and I'm going to try to show you the footwork that you need to have to allow this to happen. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me see if I can adjust it a little bit where you can see my feet. Okay, there we go, that's a little better. Now when I'm in here like this, what I want to do, I want to activate the lower part of my body. Watch out, baby. The lower part of my body in anticipation of what my top is doing. Okay, so watch my feet. Here, I'm just going to walk you through it. When I put the club into the stone, watch my feet. I'm going to overdo this. The right heel comes up. It doesn't come up that high. Okay, that's going into the stone. Now I'm going to pull it out of the stone with my core. The right foot comes back down. The left heel comes up, and I'm pulling it out of the stone. And then when I come back down, it's left, down, and right back up. Okay, so it kind of works like this, like that. Boom, boom. Okay, see what my feet are doing? But I'm activating my lower half to support what's fixing to happen up here. That's what I'm doing, okay? Everybody says, well, that's a forward press and all that. Well, you can call it whatever the hell you want. But it's like this. It's boom, boom. You go boom, 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 okay? And that supports everything that's happening up here, okay? And that's what Dave calls, and I call it, the Harmon heels. Okay, Dave kind of moves his heels around like this, but I don't. I just kind of do this, and I'm into my left side, my left heel right now, pushing the stone in, or pushing the sword into the stone. I'm on my left heel, my right heel's up. I'm fixing to pull the sword out of the stone with my core, and I do that, and the weight shifts back to my right. It's coming off my left heel, going to my right heel, which is a break, and I keep pulling it out. And when I get away from my hands, and when I do that, then I come back to the ball, and then the pressure shifts to the left heel again, and the right heel has no pressure on it at all. Okay, that's the sequence that you've got to have to support this damn thing up here that's swinging so fast. Even though you're 70 or 80 years old, you're still swinging fast, okay? So you gotta have something to support it. And that's basically all that we're doing, to tell you the truth. You know, it's just not that difficult. It's just boom, boom, boom. So I can dance. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So once you get all that sequence in your mind and just go out and practice. You don't even have to go out and practice. Just dance in your living room with it. You know, just take a club and dance with it. And you'll get it down. And it'll feel so good because now then you got the bottom half. The bottom half, you've told yourself by moving the feet the way that I told you to move them, your bottom half is saying, okay, I know what's coming, so this is what I got to do. Because I know what the top half's going to do, and I got to support that. And it's all due because you've got to be in balance. Okay, that's all it is. Golf is a motion that is in balance throughout the motion, okay? And without it, that's when you run into trouble. So you guys go out and try that. Talk to y'all later. Maybe I get to mow the yard today. Bye.